Served with the indictment today. Counsel, did you receive a copy of the indictment?
We have received a copy, Your Honor. We will waive the 24-hour notice, waive formal reading in open court, reserving the right to challenge deficiencies therein, enter a plea of not guilty as to all counts.
Thank you. In regards to the first 3 counts, the potential penalty, if you're convicted of those counts, would be life imprisonment. The potential of parole would be available depending on factors that would be addressed at the time of sentencing, if again you were to be found guilty. The counts 4 and 5, the attempted aggravated murder felonies, the first degree, could have a potential prison sentence of up to 11 years. The felonious assault would have a potential prison sentence of up to 8 years. I referred to the firearm specifications. Those, if in fact they were found to exist, would add increments of 3 years to the sentence. Those are all just possible penalties. Do you understand all of that so far?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
You are entitled to be represented by counsel. You are obviously aware of that. You are here with Mr. Friedman and Mr. DeLeon. If at any point in time you feel you cannot afford their services, you can request that the court appoint an attorney to represent you at the state's expense. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You have the right to remain silent. I appreciate your answering my questions. Beyond answering my questions, you should not volunteer any information. If you ignore that advice, then anything you volunteer may in fact be used against you by the prosecutor. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And on all of the counts, you are entitled to a trial by jury. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Counsel has already indicated an intention to plead not guilty. In fact, is that your plea to all of the charges against you?
Yes, it is. Your Honor,
Go ahead.
in addition to a plea of not guilty, we are reserving the right at a later time to request leave of the court to enter a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity.
As the court is well aware, in this instance, it's guided by Criminal Rule 46 in the amount of bail, and I'd say the factors that are specific in this would be that the nature and circumstances of the crime charges, specifically whether or not the defendant had used or access to a weapon. That certainly occurred. The weight of the evidence against him is strong. The fact that he has a possibility of a flight risk, and the fact that he himself could be a danger to this community, I'd ask this court to consider a bond in the amount of $2.5 million in cash. Thank you.
Defense?
Your Honor, my client is a lifelong resident of Geauga County. He lives with his grandparents, who are also his custodial guardians, Mr. and Mrs. Nolan, who are present in the courtroom today. He certainly has roots in the community. He has no prior offenses of violence in his past. Due to the nature of this case, the age of the client, and his roots in the community, we request a $500,000 bond secured by the real estate owned by Mr. and Mrs. Nolan.
I am going to order a bond in the amount of $1 million. That will be cash or surety, not real estate. Anything else from the prosecution?
No. Nothing further at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Defense?
Your Honor, we had filed under seal a motion regarding the placement of the defendant. We are requesting that he be detained at the Portage Geauga Juvenile Detention Center, where he is presently being held. The reason for this request is based upon those matters which we outlined in the motion under seal, including the psychological preliminary evaluation by Dr. Sandra McPherson, and we request continued detention at the Juvenile Center.
Thank you. Mr. Joyce?
Your Honor, our Sheriff, Dan McClellan, could obviously take Mr. Lane in without a problem. If in fact this court were to use its discretion to allow him to stay at the Portage Detention Center, he should do so at his own cost, Your Honor.
Okay. Court is going to order that Mr. Lane be returned to the Portage Geauga Detention Facility for a period of time until June the 18th. He will then be transported on June the 18th to the Geauga County Safety Center. Any questions?
No.
None, Your Honor.
Officers? Yes, for Mr. Lane?
Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll hold them there for a minute. Do you want to talk to them?
Yeah, a few minutes. Thanks so much.
Just each down.